Hello, if we can please close our eyes and start with a prayer. Dear God, if left to my own devices, my perception will be skewed. I surrender to you everything I think and feel. God, please take my past, plan my future, and send your spirit to redeem my mind. God, enable me to set aside everything I think I know about you, about A Course in Miracles, about other people. God, please allow me to have an open mind for a new experience. And please forgive the background doggy sounds. That's my Greta. So say hi to Greta. Say hi. Sorry. Okay, so I apologize first off. I recorded this yesterday. I didn't check it. I did not check it. And I will check this one, make sure there was volume. I also recorded the lesson and a meditation, and the lesson worked. I'm not sure about the meditation. I'll have to check on that. So I apologize. I will check them going forward. So I'm going to repeat the recording. I try to do it a day ahead. So here we are. This is for day 14. Miracles are means of organizing different levels of awareness. We are on Principle 28 in Chapter 1 of A Course in Miracles, the C&E edition, 2017, edited by Robert Perry. And I am reading along with the Course Companions. It's a Facebook page, if you'll please look for it if you'd like to join. Otherwise, you can just read along. This is Chapter 1, Miracle Principle 28. Miracles are means of organizing different levels of awareness. Miracles come from the below conscious, subconscious level. Revelations come from above conscious, superconscious level. The conscious level is in between and reacts to either subconscious or superconscious impulses in varying ratios. Freud was right about this basic classification, but wrong about the names. 52. In other words, Freud was right that the conscious level is reacting to impulses from above and below, but he was wrong in naming the levels superego, ego, and id. The levels are more properly called superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. He was also right that the content of consciousness is fleeting. Consciousness is the level which engages in the world and is capable of responding both to external and internal impulses. Having no impulses from itself and being primarily a mechanism for inducing response, it can be very wrong. 53. This paragraph introduces a view of the mind that is taught in the first 4 chapters of the text. In this view, the mind has 3 levels, with the conscious level sandwiched in between the superconscious, heavenly level and the subconscious level. The subconscious level is then itself divided into 2 layers, a superficial layer filled with the impulses of this world and a deeper layer filled with the impulse to miracles. And that's in the text. All right. For example, if the identification is with the body, consciousness may distort superconscious impulses by denying their source and seeking their impact in the orgasm. This is a result of mistaken identity. If you will look at the effects of revelation, you will see that there are some similarities in the experiential results, but hardly in the content. This originally began, if you will look back at the description of the effects of revelation. This seems to refer to Helen's original description of her revelation. The impact of this was incredibly intense, like a great burst of unexpected clarity. It was briefly so compelling that it seemed as though there was nothing else at all. The whole world just disappeared. Come here, baby. Revelations induce complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. They represent the original form of communication between God and his sons before the intrusion of fire and ice made this impossible. And then we're going to go to 55. This appears to be a reference to the 1920 Robert Frost poem, Fire and Ice, which on a literal level speculates on whether the world will end through burning or freezing. However, the poem identifies fire with desire and ice with hate, and is therefore really about the destructive power of desire and hate. This dovetails nicely with the reference here in which fire and ice seemingly destroyed our original world, a spiritual realm characterized by perfect communication with God. I'm just looking for where I left off. I apologize. Okay. It should be noted that they involve an extremely personal sense of closeness to creation, which human beings try to find in sexual relationships. This confusion is responsible for the depression and fear which are often associated with sex. Sex frequently involves lack of love, but revelation is purely a love experience. Physical closeness cannot achieve this. As was said before, the subconscious impulses properly induce miracles which are interpersonal and result in closeness to others. 56. Text. Miracles come from the below conscious subconscious level. It's just quoting text 28:2-1. This can be misunderstood by a This can be misunderstood by a personally willful conscious as an impulse towards sexual gratification. My dog doesn't like that I'm about to change the page, and she's crazy. Page 22. Revelation unites you directly with God. Miracles unite you directly with others. Neither emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced there. This is essential because consciousness is the state which produces action, though it does not inspire it. You are free to believe what you choose. What you do attests to what you believe. The deeper levels of your subconscious always contain the impulse to miracles, but you are free to fill its superficial levels, which are closer to miracles, with the impulses of this world, and to identify yourself with them. This results in denying yourself access to the miracle level underneath. In conscious actions, then, your interpersonal relationships also become superficial, and miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible. 29. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Miracles are thus a means, and revelations are an end. In this sense, they work together. Miracles do not depend on revelation. They induce it. You are quite capable of miracles already, even if you may be still too fearful for revelations. Revelation will occur after you engage at the visionary level in a process of denying fear. Revelation is intensely personal and is actually not translatable into conscious content at all. That is why any attempt to describe it in words is usually incomprehensible, even to the writer himself at another time. This is why the book of Revelation is essentially incomprehensible. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. In the end, these are more useful because of their impersonal nature. 57. Impersonal here refers to the fact that miracles aren't directed at individuals based on anything personal or specific to them. Miracles disregard all differences between people and see everyone as equally deserving. This is the opposite of the selective miracles mentioned in Principle 4. In this phase of learning, working miracles is more valuable because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. The experience cannot last. 58. The experience of revelation cannot last until miracles have prepared us for permanent freedom from fear. Miracles, therefore, are the essential course of action for everyone. Miracle Principle 30. Miracles praise God through you. They praise God by honoring His creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm spirit identification. By perceiving the spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. 59. The levels here are probably again of that of spirit and that of body. This places the spirit at the center, where minds can communicate directly. 31. Miracles should inspire gratitude, not awe. Human beings should thank God for what they really are. The children of God are very holy. The miracle honors their holiness. God's creations cannot lose their holiness, though it can be hidden. The miracle uncovers it and brings it into the light where it belongs. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but a person can deceive himself on this point. This illusion makes him fearful because in his heart he knows it is an illusion. As with all illusions, he exerts enormous efforts to establish its validity. The miracle sets validity where it belongs. Eternal validity belongs only to the Spirit. The miracle acknowledges only the truth. It thus dispels a person's illusions about himself and puts him into communion with himself and with God. 32. Christ inspires all miracles, which are essentially intercessions. They intercede for a person's holiness and make him holy. They place him beyond the physical laws and raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, he is perfect. The spirit never loses its communion with God. Only the mind needs atonement. The miracle joins in the atonement of Christ by placing the mind in the service of the Spirit. This establishes the proper function of mind and abolishes its errors. 33. Miracles honor a person because he is lovable. They dispel his illusions about himself and perceive the light in him. Thus, they atone for his errors by freeing him from his nightmares about himself. They release him from a prison in which he has imprisoned himself. By freeing his mind from illusions, they restore him to his right mind and place him at the feet of Jesus. 60. This refers to the healing of the Gadarenes demonic, a man possessed by a legion of demons. After his exorcism by Jesus, the man was found sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind. Luke 8:5. This reference therefore likens miracles to the exorcisms performed by Jesus in the Gospels, for both restore someone to his right mind. The difference, as clarified in the next paragraph, is that with miracles, the mind is cleansed not of real demons, but of illusions. The mind can be possessed by illusions, but the spirit is eternally free. If a mind expresses without love, it can make an empty shell. This can be possessed by evil thoughts, but atonement restores the mind to its proper place. Unless there is emptiness, there is no danger, and emptiness is a false creation. The mind that serves the Spirit is invulnerable. And 34. The miracle restores the mind to the fullness of Spirit. By atoning for lack, it establishes perfect protection. The strength of the Spirit leaves no room for intrusions. The forgiven are filled with the Spirit, and their spirit forgives in return. It is the duty of the released to release their brothers. The forgiven are the means of atonement. Those released by Christ must join him in releasing their brothers, for this is the plan of atonement. And now I will read Emily's notes, day 14. And I'm not going to read what's in parentheses, so if you'll please read that. I think it's breaks it up a little bit too much. So, text, day 14, chapter 1, 28 through 34. The material in the course around sex never left Helen's notebooks because she was very uncomfortable with it. In fact, this is a subject that makes many students uncomfortable. And yet, it's also a big part of our lives, so why wouldn't Jesus address it? We naturally assume that sexual impulses are what's inherent to us, while higher impulses, for example, the desire to be with God, or what the Course calls the superconscious impulse, are what needs to be cultivated. But Jesus is saying we've got it backward. We've got it all backward. He's saying that the superconscious impulse is natural. However, we've just distorted it down into a sexual impulse. Accordingly, we can't satisfy our natural impulse to express love in this distorted form, which is why our relationships are often so problematic. We want them to fill a void they simply weren't meant to fill. Also, as you read Principles 29 through 34, when you keep in mind that miracles here are expressions of love, here is what you get. When you genuinely give love to another person, you are honoring their perfection and thus praising the creator of that perfection. You are affirming that they are not their body and all the self-centered things their body has done. Rather, you are affirming that they are spirit. You are thereby honoring their innate holiness, which can be hidden but not lost. Your miracle is thus interceding for their holiness, honoring them because they are lovable. And what effect does this have on the receiver? He is healed. His level confusion is undone as he sees that, in his true identity, spirit is at the center and the body is at the periphery. His illusions about himself are dispelled and his holiness is brought to light. Thus, on the manifest level, he is made holy. He is placed beyond the tyranny of physical laws and raised into the sphere of celestial order, where he himself is complete and whole. Where he is complete and whole. I threw in a few words there. He is freed from his nightmares about himself. He is released from a prison in which he has imprisoned himself. He is no longer possessed by evil thoughts that seem beyond his control, but is once again in his right mind. His mind is restored to the fullness of spirit. And what does this do for you? This is your way of earning release from every fear. Every spiritual path, it seems, is offering us a way out of fear. And the answer always seems to be some form of find the peace within. That answer, of course, is a major part of the Course. But here in this material, there is another answer. Be a miracle worker. And I thank you, my fellow miracle worker. Thank you, Emily and Robert Perry. I love you. Thank you for joining with me. And I apologize about the previous video. And I will try to check them each time. I love you. Thank you.